Understanding the investment principles. Executive perspectives. The executives of 3 national portfolio organizations share their views on how their organizations are incorporating the investment principles. B-roll video and photographs of the speakers, activities, and locations illustrate the spoken word. Ambition and quality. Amy Vaughan is a white woman in her mid-40s with brown hair and brown eyes. She is the executive director of Battersea Arts Centre, a home for extraordinary artists, and a world-class theatre and performance venue.
Well, we've written a really nice business plan. Everything we do, we want to start with that business plan. So communicating our ambitions starts with that, and it starts with why are we here, what do we do, and who do we do it for?
Maria Oshodi is a middle-aged, mid-brown woman of dual heritage with shoulder-length curly brown hair. She is the artistic director and CEO of Extant, the UK's leading professional performing arts company of visually impaired artists and theatre practitioners.
I think we communicate our ambitions through trying to be as authentic as we can to ourselves as a company and a community.
Claire Reddington is a white woman in her mid-40s with black hair and black glasses. She is the CEO of Watershed, the internationally recognised centre for film culture.
One of the other challenges that we have around ambition and quality is that our funders all want to understand different things about our audiences. So we've had to work really hard to try and create consistency across the organisation and to get something which works for our funders, works for us and isn't too onerous.
And we just try to be really transparent and really clear about the change that we're trying to make. So we talk about it with our staff, we talk about it with our audiences, the young people, the artists and the communities that we work with.
For this MPO, we're really excited. We're bringing in a new programme called R&D You Can See, which is about letting in audiences to early stage R&D, programming it all over our venue and getting a new relationship around that, which I think will really help sort of reframe what we mean about ambition and quality, which is helping artists to achieve their vision.
Evaluation and data, which is actually a project that underpins every other project. And it's all about picking the right evaluation indicators for a project and then measuring them right the way through. And that project is really useful to talk about in the context of ambition and quality because we have that team at the centre really thinking about how we're going to measure whether we're doing as well as we want to do.
I think that our work and what we've developed has been based on a real connectedness with the communities that we serve, and by getting kind of feedback from them on the ground, we are able to learn from them and then be able to communicate what we are doing in terms of developmental process.
We are using the Impact and Insight Toolkit to measure quality. We're actually using it to build all of our evaluations at the moment, to send out surveys to people. How did you feel about this piece of work? Did it move you? All of those sorts of questions that we are building into that toolkit as well.
But I think that for us, having stemmed from a very lived kind of experience network of visually impaired, disabled artists, word goes out very swiftly back into those networks of what we're doing. We do respond to what we've learnt through deep evaluation that we do with people that we engage with, because what we try and do is to kind of reflect back to them what feels relevant.
Actually, one of the things that we're really thinking about is collaborators rather than the more formal partnerships, is actually if we're trying to do something and trying to do it really well, who are the people that know how to do it well and how do you connect with them? So we're thinking about the other cultural organisations that we work with.
Inclusivity and relevance.
Relevance is that there is representation right across the board, from the board to the staff, our participant, and that everyone reflects the community that we are trying to serve. That we have visually impaired people who are involved at the top decision making in the organisation.
Communities, for us it's all about engagement, and it's about who do we talk to and how do they come in. We have a board of local community people and artists who we consult with. We have a lot of young people that we consult with, and we have a lot of artists that we consult with. In terms of access, we have two schemes, one being pay what you can, so anyone can come and it removes the financial barrier. We also explore a relaxed venue methodology, which is about making sure that people feel they can access performances as audience members. And Creative Case for Diversity, we have really clear targets that we try to reach around the numbers of different protected characteristics that are represented across our programme.
So for us, relevance is about being timely and open to change. So a really good example of that for us is Rife, which was our celebrated digital publishing platform for young people. And we undertook some consultation with them recently. They wanted us to give them meaningful career opportunities around cultural cinema and creative technology, the two things that we do really well here.
So we have a project called The Agency, which we're really proud of, and that's run with a number of partners right across the UK. We empower young people to go out into their community and to start up projects that have a social impact. And we support them to do that. And they come through a development cycle here with us, and those projects become a reality for them, and they get to deliver those projects and see the change that they can make in their community.
Tour called Superpower Panto. We toured in March 2023, and it was an inclusive pantomime. Incorporated audio description at the point of performance. And nobody had to wear headsets. Well, that's what diversity means, and that's what relevance means to us.
We have inclusion producers, and we train our staff in gender identity, neurodiversity, anti-racism. And every year we undertake something called Balance and Belonging. So that's a big staff survey which seeks to understand the identities of the people that work for Watershed, but also, I think most importantly, to understand how those identities impact their working experience so that we can really address and change anything we need to.
Dynamism.
A really exciting project at the moment that's funded by Fidelity, and it's helping us to build a data warehouse. And in that warehouse, everything we collect is going into one place. Our box office data, our till data, and then we're building a dashboard for the organisation that's going to let anyone who works here build a report in Power BI, so a nice visual report that they can use to then communicate and tell stories using our data.
The way that we engage with our audiences and participants is being fostered through these new platforms of Illuminate and the Impact Toolkit and stuff. And that's come out of the investment principles being there as a guiding light for us.
The way that we then talk to our funders and our stakeholders and our board is everything is underpinned by really sound data.
I mean, when we did our haptic project in the dark and we had the Open University evaluating it, they designed a haptic, we wanted an evaluation interactive thing for people to experience when they came out, so it kind of reflected what they'd just been living through. And so we had this zip that did up and undid on a tablecloth that gave haptic feedback for the evaluators about how much people responded to these questions, and they were able to just interact with the zip and give feedback.
Environmental responsibility.
Watershed works all across the world. We've developed new formats for online workshops, sometimes with kind of asynchronous collaboration that allow us to create equitable partnerships without necessarily flying all around the world all the time. In addition, our staff are all bronze carbon literacy trained, so that helps us think about the decisions we're making when we design a programme to be responsible.
Rather than taking a show on tour, maybe it's about reimagining that show in a more localised way. So you tour the show by taking the concept on tour rather than all the people.
The building is a massive undertaking, so we're trying to think about what the capital needs are of the building and doing those feasibility studies and really understanding room by room what the kilowatt usage is, so that we start to say to users here, when you come in, your project uses this much carbon, put that in your funding application. So it goes back to dynamism and data collection.
It's great, isn't it? They are all wonderful kind of guidelines to give us a way to contextualise the work that we're doing.
We want to continue getting those diverse perspectives, and we're all really focused on recruitment and inclusion to make sure that our company can reflect the city that we live in.
What I really hope is that what they do over the coming years is give us all a shared language, because we do all need to talk about the environment, and we do all need to transition our businesses to be more modern and data-based.
Commissioned by Disability Arts Online in consultation with Arts Council England.